Mr. H's fifth period class's translation of the Midnight Ride.
Listen up, people, and I will tell you of the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. It happened on April 18th of 1775. No one is alive who lived then because it was a really long time ago. Who can remember that day and year? Paul Revere said to his friend, if the British will march by land or sea, Paul Revere and the town tonight.
He is saying, hang the lanterns up and the bell tower because the British are coming. He is to signal by light, putting one by land, two by sea. Paul Revere will be waiting and watching for the signal light from across the water.
Then Paul Revere said goodnight and quietly rowed to the Charlestown shore. As he is rowing, he sees a British warship, the Somerset, docked on the bay.
And the hulk was reflected on the water as it sailed under the gaze of the moon. While Paul's friend walks across the streets and through alleys, his friend paces and listens while with aching ears up until he hears the weapon of redcoats and their marching boots.
And the steady steps of the soldiers walking down to their boats on the ocean. Then he climbed the structure of the old North Church, over the wooden stairs with sneaky steps to the room ahead, and scared the pigeons from their stand.
Paul Revere's friend is looking down from the church tower and trying to get a notice if anyone is coming and making sure everything is going by plan.
Of the place and the hour and the hidden fright, he's off the empty church and stopped and stared off into space. He looked outside of the church, looking down at the boats coming in.
Meanwhile, waiting to go and ride, with his boots and spurs that shine in the night, he walked on the opposite shore, waiting anxiously for the signal, patting his horse and tightening his saddle to pass time, waiting for just a beam of light.
As he rose above the graves, he looks over the height, so much bright. He springs to his saddle, and he turns in full sight. A second lamp burns into the still night.
The Revolution was at stake when Paul Revere rode away from Boston. His horse's feet were clicking against the rocks, making sparks on the ground. Paul Revere was going to warn the others about the redcoats. As he was leaving Boston, he sees the quiet, mystic river beneath him.
It was 12 on the village clock when Paul Revere crossed the bridge into town. He heard the crowing of the rooster and the barking of the dog and felt the mist from the river which rises after the sun goes down.
It was 1 o'clock when Paul rode into Lexington. He saw the gold weathercock shining in the moonlight, and there wasn't any lights on in the meeting house, and the moonlight bounced off his glasses. He stood in awe, looking at the bloody battles that would soon begin.
In many books it is written out how the Patriots fought the British redcoats, how the British Army fired and ran because the farmers wouldn't give up behind them fences and farm walls and chased their army away.
Shooting the soldiers down, running the fields to shoot again, under the trees by the road, and only stopping to shoot again.
Through the night rode Paul Revere with a loud yet fearless voice throughout every town in the county. In the darkness, he knocked at every door and spoke that famous phrase that has been repeated many times since.